What I really saw while riding on my super cool Segway. Detective Arm and I rushed to the control room together. In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and Terran on the floor. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. But didn't the bullet land on the other side of the room?
Given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered it, does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant?
Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely, as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door, the one that didn't have a security lock.
Objection!
Double-edged swords are a tricky lot. Mishandle one and it is you who is cut down. Huh? Your reasoning could apply if Spaceboy were the killer as well. Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the 10-caliber gun. Detective Arm would have responded by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to invent the possibility of a third person.
Objection!
But Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun in his possession when he was found by police. Nor is a gunman found at the crime scene. Its absence can only be explained if there was a third party who took it with them.
Objection!
Recall the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. The defendant could have simply thrown the gun down the chute.
Objection!
But you can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving with the weapon.
Objection!
It's up to you to prove that possibility. And I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence. What evidence? Why, the detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, naturally. The most compelling evidence of all that tells us he is the culprit. I did forget all about that. He had a bomb switch in his pocket? Look, your baldness, how deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine. Wow, he sliced our third-person theory to ribbons and served it to us. Just like that.
Yes, well, I have a question of my own, actually. Are we going to get lunch? I forgot to bring mine, and I'm... Oh, the bullet. That bullet that the mysterious figure shot. What did it hit exactly?
Where did it go? It hit me.
So does that mean you're a ghost? Are you a Russian ghost?
I was wondering when you would realize it, your baldness. Director Cosmos is an authentic, bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls. Yes, right, he'll haunt your dreams, your every waking thought. He is your own personal poltergeist, Director Cosmos, undead space ghost!
Eek! No! My greatest fears made manifest! I'd rather have a bomb!
Prosecutor Blackwell, shame on you for teasing the nice old gentleman. Your baldness, it was all in jest. Please show yourself again. I promise I won't scare you again.
Abu! Abu!
I could hide my face in... Abu!
Are you sure? In that case, how did you manage to survive being shot, Director Cosmos?
I'm glad you asked. It was a miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet hit my glorious Medal of Honor, whereby it ricocheted, thus saving my life.
What? Incredible!
That's unbelievable! I have to check this out! Oh, wow! Look at that! There's one extra Gaiaxa star! The odds are literally astronomical. I guess it really was a miracle. But was it? It's beginning to really feel like the Cosmos is watching out for Director Cosmos.
But why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos? I'm surprised you didn't ask for a Purple Heart or some other manner of medal.
A great man such as myself has to hide things on occasion, no matter how much he's disappointed in his son who will not pilot the giant robot. No matter how disappointed a father is. I mean, no matter how much it hurts. It is the plight of the truly great. It may be hard for this generation to understand. I'm pretty sure you guys are the same generation. Just saying. I don't know, but it sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding? Let's just cross-examine him and see what we can find out.
Now then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Wow. So. Very interesting. Detective Arm and I rushed to the control room together. I don't think they did, actually. We've already heard all about that part. Don't you have any new information? Well, let me see. If you have an hour or two, I could tell you all about the Het One miracle.
Hold it!
I've seen the movie! We already know all about that too. Tell us about something related to this incident. I see. You want to know about incidents. Well then, let me tell you about the many incidents that made me the man I am today. I was but a boy. She was but a woman. And I was made a man. Yes, if you have the time, I will tell you all about the upbringing of this great man.
Hold it!
You've told us all about that already as well. What we need now is love's sweet love. I mean your testimony. Either one. Did I already tell you all about my upbringing? I don't recall doing so. It's very interesting. After all, I am the most interesting man in the world.
Director Cosmos, perhaps you could save your boastful tales for later.
If I must. Well, we peeked in through the control room door, and in the lounge we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room, and Terran on the floor.
Hold it!
But it was so dark you couldn't see the figure's face. Isn't that right? Yes, the room was as deep and dark as outer space itself. Speaking of outer space, during the Het One launch 7 years ago. If it's about that Het One miracle again, you can saw it off and tell it to a stray mutt. Ha ha ha, excellent idea. No reason why the animal world shouldn't hear of my greatness. And so they shall. But first, your testimony. What happened next? We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us.
Hold it!
So, in other words, you were fired at while you were at the control room door. That is correct. There's something not quite right about that. Dr. Cosmos, the bullet this person fired hit you, isn't that right?
Yes, it was a miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself.
The bullet the figure fired hit me while I was in the control room. But as the Cosmos would have it, the bullet bounced off my glorious Medal of Honor. In that case, the bullet should have wound up somewhere around the control room door, but it didn't. Okay, so Dr. Cosmos was in the control room to the east. And while he was there, he was shot at by someone with a 10 caliber gun. But the bullet hit his medal, so he was able to escape with his life. He's a very lucky man. No wonder people think he's great. Hey, I'm pretty lucky myself, so if he's a great man, then I'm the king of all cosmos. And I say you should roll up everything in the court, and we'll make it into a beautiful star! Na 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 na. Detective Arm and I rushed to the control room together. Okay, so I guess that's all we've got. So, okay, rush to the control room, Terran on the floor. It's just 3 pieces of evidence. So, okay. We were still in the control room when the figure fired at us. Okay. This is definitely the thing that is wrong. So the question is... I think it's the bullet again. Yeah, it was along the south wall of the boarding lounge, but they were along the north wall. Or the northeast wall. Definitely not the south wall. It would have had to have bounced off of his chest and either flying off or rolled all the way down to the end. So, what's her statement? The perp held a lighter with an earth emblem on their left hand and a knife in their right. That'll be important eventually. But let's present the bullet yet again. Director Cosmos, I believe you are telling this great court a glorious lie. A great man like me tell a lie?
Have you ever heard of such a thing in all of history?
My accusation is based on the positions of the people who were in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door, and the mystery figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have traveled in this direction. However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here. Oh. This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round.
Objection!
I'm spinning in circles and cannot stop. Yeah. Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself just tell you the bullet hit his metal? Of this, there is no mistake.
Objection!
Whee! But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency? Of course. I didn't think... What? Oh, great Director Cosmos. Yes, I've stopped spinning. I'm quite dizzy. I'm very dizzy. Is there something you'd like me to expound upon? I might throw up a little bit while I talk. Well, you were, in fact, not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south. Is that not right? What? Should you maybe not be on that segue in court? What are you getting at? Use your own brain. Your head must have some use other than housing that bird's nest. Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick on my hair? Is that what they're talking about? I think he's talking about your brain, man. Director Cosmos and the detective witnessed the scene from the southern door. The killer fired at them there, and that is why the bullet was found in the south. Ah, that makes some sense, actually. Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favorable for the prosecution. Huh? I got a bad feeling about this. How about it, Director, if you don't tell the truth this time? Ah!
Yikes! He's handcuffs!
You will become but rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man.
Alright, I tell the truth. Just put your sword away. I rev up my segue. You are correct. I, the great Yuri Cosmos, was looking into the room from the southern door.
What? This is the complete opposite of all the testimony he's given so far! And now you have lost your possibility that a third person was in the room. I have? How? The director and the detective were near the southern door, meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition, The corridor beyond was filled with smoke. The only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was with Director Cosmos's fingerprints. Ah! Huh. How specific. In short, there would be no escape for any third person had there been one, unless they went down the garbage chute or out the window. Ha! My third person just disappeared, like in one of Trucy's magic tricks, involving articles of her clothing that I probably shouldn't have said out loud in court.
Order! Order in the court! Director Cosmos, why did you tell such an outrageous lie?
You were covering for the defendant, isn't that right? Yes, it was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprit could have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant that there could have been a third person. But you didn't, you thought, but you tried to say it was Starbuck and not somebody else. You ain't covering for him. All I wanted to do is protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person. What a convoluted lie. Was he really covering for the defendant? Nah.
It looks like we've come to a conclusion. That the defense's argument, the possibility of a third person, has crumbled.
There's gotta be something else. No! Move is over. Yikes. The judge is about to hand down his verdict. Think, Phoenix. Think! This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. If a third person had no way of escaping the scene, then what if one of the people at the scene was this third person? Wait. What if the whole premise is all wrong? Director Cosmos says that he and Detective Arm rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? And if that person entered the lounge, then they would be the third person.
The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for argument against these claims, especially no defense from the defense. So I will now render my verdict. The trial is over. Let me lift this as slowly as I possibly can, and oh, what a surprise!
Please wait, Your Honor. There is still one possibility.
Oh, this had better be good, Mr. Wright. I was lifting my hammer very slowly, and it's my favorite thing to do, to hit my hammer.
There is one and only one person who could have escaped from the scene. And that person would be the first person who arrived on the scene. Then, upon entering the boarding lounge, the second person to arrive came via the southern door. That's why the first person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them.
Very well, let's hear more about this theory. I'm very interested and have nothing going on for the rest of the afternoon. I was expecting it to be a long trial. Who is the one person who could have escaped from the boarding room lounge?
Pretty sure we're about to accuse our comrade.
Ponko! It was Ponko!
No, Yuri Cosmos.
What? But that's... Mr. Wright, what are you claiming here?
Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director's the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all.
But that means...
Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness. Director Yuri Cosmos. Go! What?
Order in the court, I say. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself in more detail.
I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that, and saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots.
Go! I've been hit! I've been hit on the starboard side! I'm spinning! Spinning! Starboard means to my right!
Captain Wright! It's a direct hit on the enemy ship, sir! A magnificent shot! Shields are holding at 75%. Shall I hail them?
Warning shots fired from the enemy ship. Prepare to intercept. Aruga! Aruga!
Cosmos, you have told a lie in this court once again!
I've been hit! Oh, I've been hit on the port side! The enemy is called in reinforcements.
Earth to Cosmos Control Center. Requesting permission to ask that you return to reality. Please stop spinning! Stop spinning, I'm so dizzy.
But my ship will not go down for anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence. I have the nuclear evidence! Objection! It will explode!
But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar. If Director Cosmos is the 3rd person Aura Blackwell saw, this 3rd person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun, and in return the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
Haha, it looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us.
Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge, it only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence on the director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you received from the 3rd party will be all the proof we need to prove that you were the one there in the lounge.
Brace for further impact! Shield to front!
Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge. Is it just the size of the caliber bullet? I think it's one of the bullets. Do we compare Arm's bullet? Let's try it. Take that! The 38 caliber bullet found on the floor at the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. If we had that ricochet mark on the metal analyzed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. And if that mark proves to be from a 38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you were the 3rd person we've been looking for.
Hello! The bridge is destroyed, losing altitude. All hands, abandon ship. If that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank?
It was the 10 caliber bullet. In other words, it was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director?
No, you've got it all wrong. What? The engines have started again. It's a miracle. I'm not going down yet. Witness, stop this at once and confess the truth.
If you don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great liar, then accept your fate and tell the truth!
Are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of the Cosmos Space Center! But the cosmos revolves around me! Oh, it's a cosmocentric theory! Hey, someone get me off this! Jane, get me off this crazy thing! Order in the court! And would someone please stop the witness from spinning? I can't even look at him. Oh, it's making me sick. Can't look.
You're still on it! Get off that thing! You're looking rough, man. I'm going to have a bad time.
Phew, thank goodness we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the earth.
While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running an analysis on the mark on the medal. It was made by a 38 caliber bullet, matching it with the size of Detective Arm's firearm.
Are you ready to confess the truth, witness?
No, you've got it all wrong. This is just a misunderstanding. Is he gonna start piling on more lies? It looks like it. But no matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them, one by one. I'll make that big liar tell the truth. Somehow. To be continued. To be continued. Well, thanks everybody. It's been fun. I guess we'll figure out how he's lying on a much, much later date. Bye for now.